Is it echoing a little? Turned all the way off, but is this okay? I think so. I'll yell if I have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay guys, again, thank you for coming. We are very excited about tonight. We have a wonderful individual to honor, and I know that each of you all that know him already have figured this out. People often ask us, what exactly do you look for in a Grand Marshal? What's the criteria? And really, we keep it pretty simple. We try to find people that give back to the community, that have really made a significant difference, and that have given of themselves. They have just, poured themselves out, and often get nothing in return. And that's the type of people that we seek to honor, because those individuals really have made a difference in our community. And such is the case with Manuel, Mesa. I'm going to read to you a published piece that we put out on Mr. Mesa. And it is that Manuel Mesa has become a staple in regards to arts and culture in our county. For those that know Manuel personally, you know the countless volunteer hours he serves with school children involved in his arts programs. Mesa also oversees various other grant projects in regards to culture in our area. We as a committee are very grateful Manuel has decided to sow his talents of arts and culture into our community. Some of his impressive background includes, in 1975, he was an anthropology photographer for Michael Sherman Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. In 1976, he received an Associate of Arts in Anthropology and Sociology at Edison Community College in Florida. In 1976 to 1977, he was a photographer for Sherman Arabian Stallions in the Arts Show Circuit in South and Central Florida. Of course, there he did photography. In 1977 to 82, he was with Hand of Man Incorporated, a stained glass studio artist and owner. It was American Fine Crafts, and of course it was stained glass photography. In 1982, he received a Bachelor of Arts in Photography and Filmmaking at Stockton University in Pomona, New Jersey. In 1982 to 1984, he was a freelance photographer for New York City Fashion Advertising at the Michael Green Agency. In 1993 to 2005, he was the co-founder of the Street Painting Festival Incorporated. He was actually the director, executive producer of a large South Florida festival that drew over 130,000 participants and 500 artists. It's recognized as the largest street painting festival worldwide, both in attendance and geographically, covering 14 city blocks. In 1996, he received a Master of Science, Environmental Management at Chadwick University. In 2012 to 2016, he was the Tennessee Family Mediator at the Tennessee Supreme Court. In 2006 to 2008, he was the Executive Director of CASA of Campbell County. In 2006 to 2016, he was with the Campbell Cultural Coalition, the Louie Bluey Arts Music Festival Board of Directors. He was the president for 2 years and the coordinator of the Youth Outreach Program. In 2016 to 2022, he was the executive director of the Campbell Cultural Coalition, awarded the Robert Rauschenberg Foundation Grant. He is the overseer of the Louie Bluey Music and Art Festival. He is the coordinator of 42 youth art programs in all county schools. He does grant writing for the Louie Bluey Festival and art outreach programs. He is involved with the Campbell Culture Coalition community representing fiscal oversight for festival and programming. In 2019 to 2022, the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. He was the chairman of the Campbell County Leadership, vice chairman of Tourism and Marketing Division. In 2019 to 2022, TCAT at the Campbell County campus, he was on the advisory board with several college curriculums, programs, and courses of study. And in his spare time, he squeaked in a 30-year career in ocean rescue. Like, who does that, right? Help me give a round of applause to the 2022 Grand Marshal of the Campbell County Christmas Parade, Mr. Manuel Mesa. And at this time, I would like to call up our first speaker of the evening, Mr. Brandon Johnson, chairman of the Campbell Cares Playground Project.
Thank you, Kelly Jo. When Mr. Mesa called me to ask me to say a couple words about my friendship with him, I didn't know if he was calling for something or calling to hit me up for a donation. Because when I tell you this man is involved with everything important in our community, I'm not kidding. And I want to start really briefly with a story about a church experience that I had. And every time growing up that I would go to church, a couple rows ahead of me would be this gentleman, and the kids would go up and they would sing, and every single one of them would line up and it would hold church up very briefly. And they would come to this guy and he would give them all a piece of candy. Without fail, every single Sunday, he would give them a piece of candy. And no matter if the kid wanted to go up and sing or not, or say their Bible verse or not, the kids would come and get the candy and go and sit down. And for me, that's what Mr. Mesa has been to our community. He has been the person who, no matter if you want to do something or not, if you are in a good mood or not, if you're having a great day or not, you instantly encounter him and all of that changes. And from that point on, you feel different. You interact with these people and you meet these people, just like Mr. Mesa, just like that gentleman at church, that change your life in such a profound way, not just because of the things that they do, but the way in which they treat people. And we were at a Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting about 6 or 9 months back, and it was a little tense, a new business, someone new to our community, and it was Cinco de Mayo thing. And all of a sudden I look, and here comes Mr. Mesa around the corner with the tiniest sombrero right on his head. And instantly the attitude of everyone in that entire crowd changed. Yet again, that's what he does. He takes people and meets them wherever they are and makes them instantly have a better day and want to accomplish more together. And you can see that by the impressive track record that Kelly Jo shared, by everything that this man has accomplished. And we are so lucky that along the way, he decided to call Campbell County home and improve our community through the ways that he has. And Mr. Mesa, from the bottom of my heart, and from my team, the Campbell Cares, of which Mr. Mesa has been a longtime advisor, thank you for what you add to our community. Thank you for your friendship. And thank you, on behalf of all of us here, for making our days better every time we see you. Thank you, Mr. Mesa.
I would like to introduce to you the second speaker of the evening, Mr. Ray Perry, the Executive Director of Pinnacle Resource Center.
Oh boy. My dear friend Brandon, he's so generous. I see a lot of faces here tonight that I recognize, and I've worked with a lot of you on a lot of projects and things like that. So some of you know me, some of you don't. For those of you that know me, you know how this is going to go. And for those of you that don't know me, buckle up, Buttercup. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I know two things about parades, honestly. I know that they're fun, and I know that I get free candy. And so in order for me to even come here and speak tonight, I had to do some research on what this Grand Marshal thing was even about. I mean, I knew it existed, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. And so, after reading on the internet, everything you read on the internet is true. I got to looking at some of this, and I was just wondering about the committee here, and I couldn't help but think to myself, have you all met this man in person? I'm just wondering. You know him, right? Okay? So I got to look at some of the traits that the Grand Marshal is supposed to have, and one of them was hardworking. And I got to thinking about that. This man has more irons in the fire than anybody in Campbell County. And when he's low on irons, he will go and borrow other people's irons. Do you guys understand, okay? He gets 117 cell phone calls a day, and Mr. Overachiever will answer every single phone call. You know one of those is going to happen during the parade, right? You know that's going to happen. He's going to start leading the parade. He's going to get a cell phone call. His ADD is going to kick in, and this parade's going to end up in parts of this county we forgot. And that's the truth right there. Santa and his elves are going to be out there. The elves are going to be like, Santa, is that banjos? I thought Louis Blue was in September. Santa's going to go, guys, just let's go get the reindeer. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Those aren't good banjos. Let's go. But he's going to get a cell phone call, and kids are going to end up in the creek. You got the band kids are going to fall off the creek right into the water on this one, okay, guys? But that's okay. Because the next one I saw was experience. And this one, I was like, you know, Manuel was a part of our first parade. And by our, I mean humanities. What was that, like 3000 BC? Somewhere back in there? What was it, King Pharaoh Narma? Was that his name? Manuel, you were there. Was that his name? That was, yeah, great fellow. Yeah. They kept him pretty busy until about the 6th dynasty, and he took a break. I think his next gig was the triumphant entry into Bethlehem. He was there with Jesus. He said, Jesus, hear me out, man. A donkey, right? St. Peter was over, and he goes, but we got this great horse. And Jesus was like, no, take the horse back. Man, well, I want to hear more about this. Tell me. Let me up. I had an incident one time several years ago about the type of person Manuel can be when he's being encouraging. And you know, I work at Pinnacle Resource Center. We work with a very difficult population of people. And I was having a really bad day. Nothing was going right. Everything was going wrong. I called Manuel and I was like, Manuel, I'm done here, man. I just don't know if I can do this anymore. I just want to pull off the road and be done. Just be done with it all. Manuel says, Ray, my friend, if anybody can pull that off successfully, it's you. So I thought about that, and then I thought about Manuel's leadership. And how, Manuel, honestly, you and I have known each other over 10 years. We've worked on numerous projects together. We have been to trainings and workshops. But even though it's been as long as it has, I've always considered this man one of my best friends and one of my best mentors because of the first conversation that he and I ever had together. And I remember. I don't remember what I did 3 hours ago. But I can tell you this conversation because Manuel Mesa, you know, when you work in these groups, you all know, we get in these situations, people get in there and they tell you what to do, how to do it, what you're doing wrong, and all this stuff. But here I was, a young community leader, and Manuel Mesa was listening to me tell my very short resume, and then I got to hear all the wonderful credentials that you just heard, plus some more. And instead of telling me what I needed to be doing, he changed my life with one question. He looked me in the face and he said, Ray, how can I help you? And that blew me away because I wasn't used to that. You know, here is a guy with a record that is bigger than anything I ever thought I would even hope to accomplish, asking me what he could do for me. And that changed me as a young leader. That changed the way I looked at my organization. That changed the way I looked at how I interacted at my church, my community, my family, my friends. And because of that, ever since then, I've considered Manuel Mesa one of my best friends and mentor. So I can't think of anybody else that deserves an honor like this. Manuel, I love you like a brother, man. Congratulations.
at this time, I'd like to call up Mr. Bill Stanley from Cora.
I've learned a lot more about Pinnacle in the last 6 weeks than I ever imagined, by the way. God bless you. I brought notes because I don't have the memory span. Thank y'all for holding this. I learned a lot and laughed a lot when I was watching. Every morning I get up and I read the WLAF website. That's your plug. Yeah. I do. And because they do a great job of keeping up. And I saw that Manuel was the mayor Marshal, and I just started laughing. And I started being very concerned about the committee, and y'all need to work on your standards. Really do. I didn't know you were that desperate. We've got UT here, we've got all these athletes, but I know they're busy trying to win a bowl game, and we could have looked for politicians, but I realized then you guys did have standards, so. Okay. Then I realized you wanted to celebrate leadership and advance the American community. Then I really laughed. So reluctantly, he sort of fits this. I really loved listening to everything that Manuel has done. You cannot hold a job. But here are a couple of other things. In fact, she listed a couple of them, so I had to strike out some things that I had listed. Some things you did not know about Manuel Mesa. You mentioned the film studies. That's it. Didn't you serve in the military amidst all this too? So you were a veteran. Probably trained you for a lot of what you did in that. But the other thing that wasn't listed there, it was a cab driver in New York City. And if you really want to be entertained, how many times were you robbed?
Bill, this is a fire story. just 3 times.
Robbed 3 times. But if you really want a great conversation, you can talk about being a cab driver, because the thing that he always talks about is that it really taught him how to deal with people across the spectrum. All of the spectrums. Morning people, night people, rich, poor, desperate, elated. It's really entertaining to do that. And then, he's also lived across the country, California, New York, Florida, how many other places? Several. And then he came here. And that's probably one of the best things that could happen to us. And we need you. I moved here when I was 12, and I feel like I'm a native here thanks to this community and what this has. But one of the things that all of us who come here that weren't born here and raised here, you always hear it when you're growing up, well, you're not from around here, you don't understand. And after living here for years, I can get some of that. But one of the things that's always impressed me about Manuel is not only does he understand, he helps us to be better. Every one of us, as individuals, as groups, when we come together for a cause or for something we believe in, there has not been a single time that I have not felt better from interacting with Manuel. And how does he do that? Well, one of the things I found about Manuel, and I've heard this mentioned about several presidents, is that when you speak with Manuel, nothing else exists. He listens more effectively than any individual I have ever been around. You're the only one that exists for that moment. If you only have a moment, or even he has a moment, he listens, and you are the center focus of this attention, and he cares. And you can tell that in the way he listens. More importantly, and you mentioned this, he helps. Now, when you say, how can I help? I have heard that numerous times from Manuel. Here's a guy in the middle of Louis, also helping the Chamber of Commerce and all kinds of stuff, and we're holding a ground clearing for the tower up on top of Hatfield Knob. And I mentioned it in passing, saying, hey, if you know anybody that can come up and help out and clear out that day, he was the second truck up there that day.
I got the hour wrong, sorry.
but he was. And he gives. And he didn't have to do that. But he showed up. You know, he shows up. And we can learn a lot from him. He's at virtually almost every chamber event that I know about. I wish I made more, my apologies. But you know, he's always going to be there, and he's a great representative to the community. And he helps the other organizations. He will always talk about what your group is doing, what your group is doing, what you're up to, because he helps us to make connections and see common ground. And he helps us to help each other. So but the other thing about him is that he's also one of the cagier people. And when I was thinking about some comments, I got thinking about another icon in this community, Lee Ashbury. Now, Lee was probably one of the cagier people I've ever experienced, and you're getting it. You know, Lee, you could ask Lee for something, he would turn you down, and you would be leaving his office apologizing for bothering him. Manuel, on the other hand, can ask you to do something. You don't have the time, you don't have the passion, you don't have the intention, and 3 days later you find you said yes, and you're in your shop building sign carriages for golf carts for Louis at 2 in the morning, and you're happy to do it. And that is an amazing skill and ability, because he makes you want to do better. And even when you say no. We're better because of Manuel being here, and looking forward to you being in the parade. But, you know, I learned this too, but being an outsider that came in and we hope will never leave, you need to have something to stay warm. So we got this for you. You know, it's in the appropriate color for Christmas. Let's see. You can put that on the door so that everybody knows. That was Gail's idea. I'm not smart enough for that. So there's something warm for Saturday, even though the day's going to be cold. But I guarantee you this, my friend, the crowd will be warm. Thank you for being here.
Before I call our final speaker up here, I just wanted to take a moment and thank Philip Church of God for allowing us the use of the facility, and also for those countless hours that a lot of volunteers spent in here today, just moving things around and preparing it, decorating it for the event tonight. So we're very grateful for that. I'm actually going to go ahead because one of these is going to be introduced as the final speaker, but I also want them to get some recognition before we get to this point. And that is, of course, the parade committee, who work a lot of hours to bring all of this to you every year. I want to begin by recognizing Pam Webb. Pam, please stand up. She's already probably been a 12-year veteran of the parade committee, and we're very happy to have her, of course, on board. Holly Claiborne. And she's an extreme blessing. Girls' beautiful tables are an expression of some of Holly's talents. Missy Tackett. Robin Baird. And of course, I want to go ahead and recognize they're a member of our team because they're always there to help us. And of course, that's Patrick Peebley and John Hughes. They're always at the foot of the hill. in the cold, and Patrick is very good at running down Santa Clauses that are not supposed to be in the parade. Yeah, it's a scary moment for everybody. All right, and of course, the last speaker, of course, is another member of the parade committee who has also worked countless hours to bring this to you, and every year. But this speaker has actually even been on the committee before I came on board. How many years before I even?
I don't know, somewhere 27 years.
So she's probably had over 20 years experience on the parade committee. Everybody, I introduce to you Nancy Green.
I also can't just stand up here and talk off the cuff like you guys did, so I have my notes. But anyway, when Manuel asked me, I was making out the program for tonight, and I said, I need to know who you need to speak for you, Manuel. So I was in Texas last week, and he was in Louisiana, so we were texting, and he said, I have my speakers. And he mentioned Brandon, he mentioned Ray, and he said, and Bill. He said, and then I would like one other speaker if I can convince her to do that. And he said, and that would be you. And I said, wow, okay, I'm honored, and I'll be happy to. Because Manuel is just a really special, special friend to me and to my family. So I have a few notes here I want to share with you about my experiences with Manuel. Manuel Mesa, what can be said to describe this Renaissance man? He definitely is a Renaissance man. We all know him as Manuel. The kids all know him as Mr. Mesa. And to me, he's a dear friend, he's a mentor, he's an advisor. He's the one I call on when I can't figure out the problems myself. He's one of the ones I call on. Larry Tannis is another. And I called on Manuel, I think on today's Thursday, it's Tuesday. And actually I picked him up from the airport and we were talking, and I said, I have bought this really beautiful Christmas tree from the Enchanted Forest to help the Christian Coalition. But the problem is I cannot get it home. I don't have a truck. Do you happen to know anyone that might have a pickup truck that could go get a tree for me? And he said, I believe we could work that out. So yesterday, Manuel and I went to the Christian Learning Center and we got my tree and we took it home. Because he is the one I called on that was the friend with the pickup truck. But I've known him for many years. When his travels led him here to this small part of the world from everywhere he's been, he fell in love with our lakes and our mountains, and he decided to make this his forever home, and we are so happy that he did. He had 2 daughters with him at the time that were quite young, and they were enrolled in our elementary schools, not elementary, our public schools, and they have both graduated now and have gone on about their merry way with their lives. And they're also very adventurous like he is. I mean, they may be in New Orleans or they may be in Mexico. They're everywhere, just the same as Manuel is, so he's given them that wandering spirit. As his biography states, he's traveled so many places, and he has a varied and interesting career, including that. I was very amazed when he told me he'd done 30 years as ocean rescue. I cannot even imagine that because I can't swim, and if I get in water this high, I'll hyperventilate. So I cannot imagine doing ocean rescue, especially for 30 years.
You've been the perfect victim now.
Okay. His latest endeavor, I guess, here is as the executive director of the Cultural Coalition, and he is known as Mr. Louie Bluey around in this area because when you see Manuel, Louie Bluey. Everywhere he goes during that time of year, he does his pitch for Louie Bluey. And it has become a very, very renowned festival and very successful, and he has 2 of his people here with him, Leah and Jocelyn, that make that all possible and help him with it.
And Jennifer and Brad.
Okay, Brad, yeah, there's Brad and Jennifer, thank you, sorry. Okay, he's been here in Campbell County for 17 years, and he's done countless and countless art projects in that length of time, involving children in public schools. And some of the work you can see, if you come in the public library, you'll see a big tile table in the children's section that's these squares painted, and each child's name that had a part in that square, their name is on that table. And that's one of the projects. Another is the majestic elk that you see down at the Justice Center. We have children that painted that. He is always doing something to better our community. And I don't want to repeat his biography, but I am really, really proud of his contribution to the public arts and cultural endeavors of this area. Also, one other thing, if you need help running a grant, call Manuel. He's written so many grants. And he shoots these grants, though, to enhance the cultural and artistic interests of our children of our area, and we're so proud of that. And one thing that I wanted to bring out, he is the very first non-native to Campbell County citizen to have ever been elected as our Grand Marshal in the Christmas parade.
Wow.
I think that speaks very highly of him and of the respect people have for him in this area. And I was asked today, I think, who is the Grand Marshal? And I said, Manuel Mesa. Oh, I know him. I love to hear him talk with his mixture of trying to be Tennessee accent and then his other world accent. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, during my tenure as president of the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, I submitted his name to be served, and along with Larry at the same time, to serve on the board, and of course they were elected unanimously. And from there, Manuel has gone on to serve on many, many chamber committees, one of the most effective being as the leadership committee, which requires a lot of work and a lot of dedication. He's a valuable asset, though, I think, to any organization that is lucky enough to have him. And I'm not going to take up any more time singing his praises. You all know him, you all love him, and I think when we, the committee, chose him as our Grand Marshal, we made a great choice, and we are very proud of him. And congratulations, Manuel Mesa.
Would the parade committee please join me up here, please? It got so quiet. Nancy mentioned it as well. This is probably the most beautiful plaque we've ever been able to present to anyone. We were just blown away when we saw this. So, without further ado, we present to you the 2022 Campbell County Christmas Parade Grand Marshal, non-native, but now native, Manuel Mesa.
Charlotte's so great, she always tells me not to blink. All right, I'll put this down here, and I've got a few show and tells here, so I'll bring them up. No, it's fine, it's fine. So many kind and some mean words, but I am so appreciative and really honored and humbled by the whole experience and having you all come out here this evening, taking your time to be here is such an amazing gift to me, and it's just been, this ride has just been so extraordinary for me, and I just love it. So I hope that you all are very comfortable. Like they said, there's coffee in the back there, so get some coffee, because I'm going to read this book to you. So I want you to be very comfortable. Now, I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but first off, I really want to thank the committee. just for not only nominating me, but just everything that you've done and all the work. And I know that I've been talking to Kelly Jo and Nancy, several people, numerous times, just going back and forth with information. And it's just been I'm so grateful for everything that you've done. And again, like you mentioned, Kelly, having this facility here, it's a great thing too. It is an amazing honor for me to be nominated and to be the Grand Marshal for this year's parade. There are just a few things, and I really want to thank the speakers. I appreciate you guys coming out and saying what you did. And I know that probably at least, I'm just ballparking here, 79% of it was true and sincere. The other, that's okay. We can live with that. We can live with that fine. So again, just thank you so much. I mean, this is just such a great moment, really, for me. And I'm going to start with a quote from a fairly famous person, FDR. For some of you young folks, that would have been the 32nd President of the United States. But he said, "I'm not the smartest fellow in this room, but I sure can pick smart colleagues." And I love that saying because I feel so enriched in my life, not because I'm smart or talented or clever or wise, but I have been fortunate to surround myself with amazing colleagues and people, and some of them are sitting right here at this table. And to me, that's such a gift. To be able to have people that are wiser, smarter than I am, and I take their knowledge and I try and use it, and I try and present that back to the community in any way I can. One of the things I thought was so interesting and funny to me, this just happened 3 days ago. So Kelly Jo asked me for a little bio, and she read that, and it occurred to me that, so part of that bio, which she put at the end, which is great, was I had a 30-year career, but that was not part of my bio because my bio was centered around the things that I love. And I never really thought about that. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, I had a 30-year career that's not even mentioned in my bio. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how crazy is that? But that's what my life has been, and that's what my journey has been. Doing the things that you love. And touching and talking to the people that move you and stir you. And that's why when I sent you the bio, my career, although I loved and enjoyed doing that, that wasn't a part of it, because and it just never occurred to me until we had that conversation 2 or 3 days ago. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even put that in. Oh, that's only 30 years of my life, who cares about that? It's like, but I thought that was an interesting moment for me to make me realize the things that are important, truly important to me. And that's what I told her about and what I wrote about. So that was just a real amazing moment for me to understand and realize that. Going back to FDR, so I've been so fortunate to be in this community and to be associated with the people that I have been, and really the tremendous work that the Campbell Culture Coalition has done throughout the years. I am so proud of so many of the different things that we've done. We have done, actually we're in the process right now of doing and presenting another project that's going in the La Follette Nature Walk right by Big Creek, and one up in the Welcome Center up in Jellicoe. And it's a project that Miss Jen Hoffman here, which is on our board, has been leading that. So we're in the process of doing that. We're always doing things, and that's what makes it all possible, is working with people that are so involved and so interested and in love and with passion in this community. And that just, it's been such a reward to me. And like I said, I'm not going to take a lot more of your time. I so appreciate you being out here. But I do have two quotes that I want to close, the program out with. And actually, one of our speakers tonight was somebody that really kind of introduced me somewhat to him. And so these two quotes are from Winston Churchill. That would be Mr. Bill right there. He, we've talked about him some, and a great man. So one of the quotes was, and I love both of these. These are really magnificent. Success consists of going from failure to failure. And I've known so much of that, but without losing your enthusiasm. And that's really so important. I mean, I don't believe anybody realizes or knows or really considers that everything they do is going to be rosy and beautiful and wonderful. You're going to fail. Things are going to go bad. But for some reason, that challenge and those blocks, they encourage me and they push me forward. When I hit these blocks in my life, which happen more often than I want to even admit, but that just makes me more determined. And, Brandon was talking a little bit about it. It's like, and maybe it's evolved, but like, I feel so passionate about so many things that my enthusiasm just like erupts and spills all over the place. And sometimes it can get messy, but I like that messiness. The other thing that I love, and I really love this, is that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And they're so true. It's like, you go out and you work your 9 to 5, you do your whole thing, it's great, you can buy your Ferrari, Mr. Staley. Not that he has one, but we were talking about that earlier. But it really is, and that's what's become so important to me, is what you really can give to other people, to your community. I've had a journey going a lot of places, being a lot of different things in my life, and I am here, and I am grateful and happy and excited that I am here, and I feel that this community is such a wonderful place to be, to work, to play, to smile, to laugh, to just know people like you all. It's one of the greatest things that has ever happened to me, and I'm so tremendously grateful. Oh, and I brought this up. I want to show this because this one I almost forgot about this one. So this is my guitar. I'm gonna play about 25 songs for you. This is a project that we did at several schools, and the kids made these little instruments. And the two instructors for these projects, we did three projects. It was Charlotte and Joe led these projects in the schools. If you want to see any of these, they are actually in the Justice Center. And we have several projects there that the kids have done in the community. So we have 3 of these at the Justice Center, and we have like a little recording that talks about the whole thing. Pretty cool. So we do these projects in the school. We do Louie Bluey. The team that surrounds me, that helps me, those are really the people that make things happen. And I'm so grateful because I come up with these crazy ideas and I present them to them. They're like, "What? You want to do what?" And I'm like, "No, really, we could do it, right, Brian? Right, Brian?" He's our president. And he's like, "Oh my goodness, here he goes again." But only because there's so much support and there's so much enthusiasm and there's so much love around everything that we do, and that's what makes it work, and that's what makes it wonderful. The last thing I do want to do is, and you can't see it, and that's okay because it's a terrible picture, but this is a picture of my daughter, Sierra. And here is also a picture of my other daughter, Ellie Renee. And these two women, they don't live here anymore, but as Nancy was saying, they graduated from Campbell County High School, right across the street here. And these two women that are grown are the reason that I have become the person and a better man than I am or was. It's because of them. And it's also because of you guys in this community. And I'm done for now, but guess what? There's more to come. Thank you all so very much.
Feel free to stay as long as you like. We're about to cut the cake. Please, yes, enjoy some cake and just spend as much time as you like. Take plenty of photos. Thank you.
Would you
Hey Logan, tell Johnny we hi. Yeah.